Welcome everyone. Thanks for stopping by. This is Chris Petri and I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel. For those that might be new here, please subscribe. You just tap the button below that says subscribe and you'll be alerted of any new watercolor videos coming out in the near future. Usually we get together every weekend and create a painting, and so I just want to get right into it here. We're going to do a beautiful English inn from a photograph. And on this, I wanted to do something a little different. I wanted to sort of make hash marks around the watercolor paper on key sections of the painting, so that when we're doing the drawing first, our pencil sketch, we kind of have our markers set up, or our hash marks around the composition. Could make things a lot easier. So I like to use hash marks a lot, but not all the time. So I guess it depends on what type of subject matter it is. But for this painting, it could be really helpful. So I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. See if I can... and I'll make some hash marks on my watercolor paper. Okay, that looks pretty good. So this is the painting. Maybe I can zoom in a little bit here. So that's the English inn. And there is a slight issue I had with my printer. No big deal. We're doing watercolor. It's not a precise medium, so I'll just work around that. I can get I can get 99% of the information I need from this photo, even though it's got a few markings on here from the printer not operating correctly. No big deal. We have to deal with these things sometimes. And I'm going to set this down. And then I'll make I will do a rectangle. So I'm going to, it'll be somewhat square. Like that. Okay, so now I have my rectangle or square that I'm going to work within for my painting. And then I have my photograph here, and then I can really use this for reference. So I'm going to say, alright, here's the chimney on the right. We can make a hash mark here, and even put a little reference initial or something if we want. That can be helpful. Because if we do a lot of hash marks, I don't intend on doing a tremendous amount, but even still, we can put CH for chimney here. Here is not going to be an issue. I'll put a wall. And then if I sort of trace this line out, I would say this will be the road. And then here I'll put the same thing, road. And then here I'm going to say a mountain. And then from there I think we can get everything, but we could from here I think we're pretty good. If we get these outside perimeter hash marks, I think we can figure out the rest, but let's just say we'll do another one. We'll put the another chimney here, and then maybe we'll say that's the gable of the roof. Alright, that should be really good actually. And then I'm going to tape this up across on my art table here. We'll set this up across from us. And now I'll do a contour drawing. I'm going to go a little darker Usually with contour drawing, you can go a little lighter if you don't like pencil marks too much on your watercolor painting. I happen to really love pencil lines in my paintings. It adds some more interest into the composition and into the painting, so I tend to like pencil, showing through the watercolor painting. But if you don't like pencil marks so much, when you're working, you can go really light with your pencil sketches. But in essence here, making this video, I want to go darker too with my pencil marks. This way you can see it clearly when I'm drawing. Okay, so we're going to start here. I think I'm going to start here at this road, which is sort of like that level part of the road. So I won't talk as much now. I'm just going to try to concentrate, and I also want to position my body so it's easier for me to draw this, so I'm going to back away from the microphone a little bit. Okay, I'm going to take just a break for 1 second, and I'm going to start back in over here where the these distant homes are. Okay, and one more break. I'll just finish up some minor details on the buildings here. Okay, so now most of the details are completed with the buildings, and I'll try to get this curve in the road. Okay, so that's good. Maybe what we'll do is we'll take a break and relax a little bit, come back in like 10-15 minutes, and then we'll start painting this. I think it's always good to take a lot of breaks when we're working, so let's do that. Let's take a quick break. We'll get something to drink. I'm going to have some iced tea, and we'll start back up again. We'll start mixing our paints and get right into this. Okay, we'll be back in just 1 second. Okay, we're back. We just took a quick break for maybe about 20 minutes. We're going to kick this up a notch and have a little more interesting fun with this. I'm going to tape down my watercolor palette. Okay, that's good. Now we're going to have an interesting twist to this. We're going to actually go in with some Faber Castell Artist Pen, a Pitt Artist Pen. And this is Indian ink inside these, and they're waterproof. I've used these many times with watercolors. Once they dry, after you draw, they don't really move at all or start to reactivate. So these are really, really excellent pens. And this is size F and S, and I'm pretty sure S is the main one I'll use. I might have got the caps. That's one issue about that, so I wouldn't go by the... I would forget it. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about the caps, because sometimes I get them switched when I'm using them. If I have all the caps off and then I put them back on. Oh, here they are. They're right here on the... Yeah, so let's see if we have them matched up right. We do. So F and S. And I'll probably use the F size. Again, the Faber Castell. And this is real fun. We can just basically go over our drawing. This one's starting to... So these are a little bit, these are wearing out. I'm trying to see if I have anything else. These are waterproof too, Statler's. I think Sharpies are also work. Permanent, yeah, Sharpies work great. Permanent marker. Let's see how this one is. And okay, I'm just going to go, I'm going to zip right around the painting here with the marker. Get some of the darks in. I'm just having fun with this. I'm trying to, like, you know, make this a fun experience. This is all wood slats, so they're kind of like a little bit rough around the edges, no big deal. And you can really take your time if you want as well. Sometimes the colors change a little bit with these Sharpies and so forth, so if you see a different color that's not matching the ink you're using, it's probably good not to use that. It could be okay, I'm not sure, but we'll go over this with dark paint anyway, this section here. So anything in dark shadow, we're going to use dark paint, but here's where you can also have a little more freedom with your movement of your pen. Since the pencil lines are there and you're happy with that, then you can, it's almost like you can be a little more free with adding a little bit of curves and a little more exciting movements with the pen. And I'm just going to rough in some stonework. And then I'll do a little bit of brickwork kind of feel, just some parallel lines. So I went a little bit quickly and went over an area, so I'll just use some white paint to, there's a sign here, a square sign. Okay, we're still moving along. And I think that's all, really good. The ink is going to look really fine here. And then we'll just use the lighter washes of watercolor so that we'll kind of capture that really nice look of the ink and wash. Then I'm just going to use some clean fresh water and a nice Kolinsky Sable round brush, watercolor brush, and we'll get started on the washes. I'm just going to pay close attention to the photograph that we had. So this is what we're working from, our photograph. And I'll try to go in and probably do some of the darks. Maybe the roofs I'll start off with in the foreground, and then work into the distance a little bit. So in essence here, I'm going to go with lighter washes, like, or I'm not going to use as much like paint maybe as normal, because I'd like to see all the like drawing, the actual pen, or the the ink lines. So let's see how we can work on this here. Let's do the roofs. So we'll mix up burnt sienna, French ultramarine, burnt umber, yellow ochre, cerulean blue, cobalt blue, burnt umber, and French ultramarine blue for the darker colors. This will dry a lot lighter. Then there's some green. We'll mix up green, sap green, olive green, Viridian green. It's a little bit lighter up top, so I'll add in some cadmium lemon yellow. Some finger painting a little bit. Then there's some French ultramarine blue for the shadowing, maybe a little bit. And this is going to be a free painting here, like a very just getting some washes on. This is the stonework. The stonework here is mostly a lighter tonal value and color, so we'll sort of capture that. Then there's the brick color, burnt umber, burnt sienna, and some alizarin crimson for the brick. And I'll mix in some French ultramarine, like some of that darker mix into this a little bit too. Olive green and olive green and yellow ochre. A little bit of cerulean blue. Some of that darker mixture of burnt umber and French ultramarine blue. And I'll weight down that corner of the paper with a dark. here I'm just going to kind of use all the colors that we have in the palette. The greens are over here, so this is where the greens are, and some of the cement colors, the plaster. More green for the foliage over here. And then sometimes it's good to, if you want to do more work in a section but you see a lot of watercolor and paint there, you can let that go and come back to it. So then we'll keep working our way around this way here. And we'll mix some more chimney brick color. A little bit of orange maybe. And some cerulean blue. It mixed in with that darker color we had mixed, which was burnt umber, French ultramarine blue, and burnt sienna. And then more of the chimney color. Okay, there's more light on this roof. Cerulean blue, a little bit of French ultramarine blue, and we'll tone it down. And so we keep going here on the roofs. They're catching more of the light, so they're a little bit lighter in tonal value. And then of course here we're definitely going to go, we're going to try to tone down the colors, make them more grayish and cooler in the distance here. And we'll get some tone on here. And some cooler greens for the mountains here. Maybe I'll make a little bit of purple with alizarin crimson and cobalt blue, since we use these colors. And then maybe a little bit of yellow ochre just to warm and cool it. And then just for the drive here, the driveway, it's more the road along this. It's like a brownish gray, so I use just the colors we had. Burnt umber, French ultramarine blue, maybe a little bit of alizarin crimson. That's really pretty good. Let's get a sky in quick. And I'll scrub in the sky with some, a little bit of grayish mixture with the cerulean blue. Cobalt. A little bit of orange for the where the sky meets up with the top of the roofs. Alright, perfect. We'll let this dry, but that's pretty much it. And then you can do a little more details once it dries completely. Then you can go back in and do a little touch-up, but that's perfect. Just what we wanted. Lots of water and a nice pen and ink showing through. All right, we'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.